There are many military forces in The Witcher. For example, you have forces like the Vryheid Brigade, the Temerian Blue Stripes, the Mahakaman Volunteer Army, and many more. One of the most famous of these military corpses is the Dunbanner. However, they weren't always that well known, and in fact began as more of a patrol force than the war heroes they eventually became. In today's entry, I will discuss their full history and shine a bit of a light on this interesting part of the Witcher lore. We are first introduced to the Dunbanner in the Witcher book Blood of Elves. In this book, we find out the origins of this brigade, their origin being the city of Bangleen, in the kingdom of Kaedwen. Bangleen is a city located in southern Kaedwen, south of the capital of Ardcarreg, and also south of the sorcerer's school of Banard. In fact, it's located so far south of most of Kaedwen, it's actually closer to Vengerberg than its fellow Kaedweni cities. When the Dunbanner are encountered in Blood of Elves, it is noted by Yarp and Zigrin that they are light cavalry, and are easily recognised by their cloaks and beaver hats. On top of that, we find out that they bear the emblem of Kaedwen on their armour, which can be seen in this illustration. We are also introduced to Zivik, who is at this point a Lance Corporal in the Dunbanner. Make a note of that name, as he actually comes up later in the books and the games. But moving back to how they're found in Blood of Elves, they are simply patrolling and they stumble across Yarpin's crew, then they ask to inspect Yarpin's caravan. Interestingly, Ciri, the Witcher Geralt, and Triss were at that time travelling with Yarpin. After seeing that everything appeared to be in order, they simply left, but not without warning Yarpin's crew of Scoia'tael activity in the area. They later appear briefly in the Witcher book Time of Contempt, where it is mentioned that they assisted in the incursion of Upper Aedirn, or you might call it the Lawmark depending on your political stance. This was when King Henselt decided to invade Upper Aedirn and take it for himself. The Dunbanner were as always at the front of the battle, being light cavalry, and as for Upper Aedirn, Henselt would argue that he was reclaiming it, but that's a whole other story, and if you've played The Witcher 2, you may remember a similar event occurring. In the future, I will cover this dispute between Kaedwen and Aedirn, but for now, all you need to know is that the Dunbanner helped invade Upper Aedirn, and this was one of their earliest known victories in battle. They next appear very briefly in the Witcher book Tower of the Swallow, in the form of Zivik, the Lance Corporal mentioned before. As it is mentioned, he, amongst many other important characters in the Witcher universe, awoke on the night of the autumn equinox. Characters that awoke include important individuals such as Philippa Eilhart and Emir var Emreis. The Dunbanner are then next seen in The Lady of the Lake during the Battle of Brenna. Now I do plan to cover the Battle of Brenna in the future, as it is a fairly complex and important battle, and I feel as if to explain it fully a lot of context is needed, but for now I will just explain the Dunbanner's role and what taking part in this battle led to for them. During the Battle of Brenna, the Dunbanner were sent headlong into the Nilfgaardians. They were led by, I believe, Digod, a centurion, and members of the Dunbanner, such as Zivik, were there. Of course, the Northern Realms as a whole were led by John Natalis, but the banner itself was led by Digod. And it was after this battle, as it was such a decisive and famous battle for the Northern Kingdoms, it's when they beat back Nilfgaard and basically won the war, the Dunbanner became more well known, and I suppose in a way famous, as they had proven their mettle and helped defend the Northern Kingdoms. Several years later, the Dunbanner were then once again called into battle, but this time it was to invade Upper Aedirn again. They were led by the commander Vandergrift, but sadly they suffered a crushing defeat that decimated almost the entirety of the Dunbanner and ended this cavalry's career. However, the defeat was not at the hands of the Aedirnian troops. It was instead at the hands of their so-called ally, the sorceress Sabrina Glevezig, who was working in the interests of the Lodge of Sorceresses. During this battle, Sabrina called down a storm of fire, destroying most of the Kaedweni and Aedirnian troops, including practically all of the Dunbanner. She was later burned at the stake. However, a member of this cavalry did survive, and he can actually be met in The Witcher 2. This member being Zivik. Zivik had survived due to being in a field hospital at the time, and at this point in the story of the whole Witcher, had practically become a veteran of war. And you can actually meet Zivik in the Kaedweni camp should you choose to go with Roach's Path in The Witcher 2, where he will discuss the Battle of Brenna amongst other events. Undead members of the Dunbanner can also be seen during the Battle of the Mists, when exploring the area in which they were buried. When talking to the undead Dunbanner, nothing new is really revealed, except there is a fun quest test in which a member will test your Witcher knowledge involving the Battle of Brenna, and this is in order to get the Dunbanner's banner, and this member also talks in detail about their destruction at the hands of Sabrina. And it's quite funny because if you fail the questions, so say if your lore isn't quite up to scratch, you then have to actually fight them. Finally, I just wanted to list all the known members of this brigade. There is Bode, Eckhart, Stala, Kraska, Hrafir, Digod, and of course, Zivik. I personally find the Dunbanner really interesting for many reasons, but my main reason is because of the character of Zivik. The fact that this minor character is present throughout most of the Witcher books, be that in an incredibly minor way, then we can actually meet this minor character in The Witcher 2, is just so interesting to me, as it really provides a lot of depth to the world and helps make it feel really alive. It's one of those things that really puts The Witcher into perspective, and that there's this entire history around the world, not just with the main characters, but with every aspect of it. And that is honestly one of the main reasons I do lore, and why I decided to make today's entry. Anyway guys, that's the end of today's lore video. Every so often, I do have to make short lore videos like this, but that is because I must complete my goal of covering everything in the Witch universe, big or small. But regardless, I hope you've all enjoyed anyway. As always, be sure to like the video to let me know you support the channel, as it really does help, and also to let me know you support these sort of videos and want more. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, as I make Witcher lore videos every week, along with other Witcher related videos, and if you subscribe you won't miss them. And also be sure to follow my Twitter and Twitch. I've actually been streaming a lot recently and would love to chat to more of you about The Witcher and other fandoms that we might share an interest in. Also be sure to join the Discord and Reddit, and maybe even follow my Instagram. Everything I've talked about should be in the description if you're interested. And finally, as always, a big thank you to the Patreon pledges. You guys are honestly so awesome, and I really appreciate your support. You help out the channel a lot. I'm glad to put all your names at the end of these videos. Anyway guys, that's the end of today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have an awesome rest of the week.